このラジオでは、英語を生活の中で聞くことになれるための音声をお届けしています。僕は関西外国語大学外国語学部を卒業し、学生時代はネイティブの外国人と日常的に交流しながら英語に触れてきました。その経験から、英語は理解しようと力を入れるよりも、意味がわからなくても音として聞き続けることで自然に慣れていくと感じています。このラジオも暗記や勉強を目的としたものではありません。作業をしながら、移動しながら、生活の中でそのまま流してお聞きください。集中する必要はありません。聞き取れなくても問題ありません。これから英語の会話をお聞きいただきます。まず日本語で内容をお聞きください。その後、同じ内容を英語でお聞きいただきます。最後に英語のみの音声が続きます。英語の音やリズムに慣れることが目的です。それでは日本語をお聞きください。今日の場面は仕事の中で内容や進み具合を簡単に確認し、短いやり取りをしている場面です。特別な会話はありません。よくある日常的なやり取りです。仕事の途中で内容や進み具合を簡単に確認します。相手に声をかけて今の状況を短く聞きます。詳しい説明は求めません。必要な点だけを確認します。相手は今どこまで進んでいるかを簡単に伝えます。予定通りに進んでいることや少し調整が必要な点について触れます。会話は落ち着いたテンポで進みます。相手の話を聞きながらうなずいたり短く返事をします。分かったことを簡単に言葉にして確認します。追加の指示は出しません。細かい判断もしません。必要な情報が共有されたらそれで十分です。話の内容は整理され、特別な結論はありません。確認が終わったら軽く了解を伝えます。そのままそれぞれの作業に戻ります。特別な出来事はありません。よくある仕事の中での簡単な確認と短いやり取りが静かに進んでいきます。I check in with someone during work to confirm the current status. I approach them calmly and ask how things are going. I keep the question simple and clear. I do not ask for detailed explanations. I only want to understand the main points. The other person responds by briefly explaining what has been done so far. They mention the progress and say whether things are moving as planned. Sometimes they add that a small adjustment may be needed. The conversation stays focused and practical. I listen carefully and acknowledge what they say. I respond with short confirmations to show that I understand. I repeat the key points in my own words to make sure we are aligned. As the conversation continues, we confirm what is necessary and nothing more. I do not give additional instructions. I do not make decisions at this moment. I simply confirm the information that has been shared. The exchange remains calm and efficient. The other person finishes their explanation, and I let them complete their thoughts without interrupting. I stay attentive and relaxed. I briefly confirm the next step, if there is one, in a simple way. If everything is on track, I acknowledge that and move on. If a small change is mentioned, I note it without discussion. There is no need to go deeper into the details. The purpose of this exchange is only to confirm the situation. We both understand what has been shared. The conversation does not require a conclusion or a decision. Once the confirmation is complete, I express my understanding in a short phrase. The other person responds, and the exchange comes to a natural pause. After that, we return to our own tasks. There is no follow-up discussion at this time. The interaction is finished quietly. This kind of short confirmation happens often during work. It is a normal part of daily communication. The words and phrases used are familiar and repeated across many situations. I hear them again and again. Over time, they become comfortable sounds. I do not need to focus on them closely. I simply let them pass as part of the working environment. This type of exchange is brief, clear, and functional. It allows work to continue smoothly. I remain calm, listen carefully, and respond simply. The flow is familiar and easy to follow. The confirmation is complete, and the work moves forward without interruption. I pause my work for a moment to check the current situation. I approach the other person calmly and ask a simple question about how things are going. I choose my words carefully and keep them short. I am not asking for a detailed report. I only want to know the overall status. The other person responds in a clear and concise way. They explain what has been completed so far and what is still in progress. I listen without interrupting. I nod slightly and show that I am following along. The explanation continues at a steady pace. The other person mentions that the work is moving forward as expected. They may also mention a small point that needs attention. I do not react strongly. I take in the information as it is. My role here is only to confirm, not to decide or correct. I acknowledge what I hear with short responses. I repeat the key points quietly in my mind. The task is progressing. Some parts are finished. Other parts are ongoing. Everything sounds familiar. I have heard similar updates many times before. The language used is simple and practical. The meaning is clear even without focusing closely. I ask another brief question to clarify one point. The answer comes quickly. It is short and direct. I acknowledge it again. There is no need to continue the discussion. The purpose of this exchange is not to solve problems. It is only to make sure that we share the same understanding. The conversation remains neutral and calm. There is no emotional tone. There is no urgency. We are simply exchanging information. The words flow naturally. The rhythm stays even. Sometimes the other person confirms that everything is on track. Sometimes they mention a small delay or adjustment. I accept the information without judgment. I do not offer advice. I do not ask for explanations. I simply listen and confirm. The exchange passes naturally. I express my understanding with a short phrase. The other person responds in the same way. There is no formal ending. The conversation stops quietly. After the confirmation, we return to our respective tasks. Work continues without interruption. This kind of short check happens often throughout the day. It may happen in the morning, in the afternoon, or between other tasks. The timing does not matter. The structure stays the same. A short question, a clear answer, a brief acknowledgement. Then we move on. The process repeats itself again and again. Over time, these words become familiar sounds. I recognize the patterns without effort. Sometimes the confirmation happens face to face. Sometimes it happens while passing by. Sometimes it happens during a short pause. The situation changes, but the language remains similar. I stay relaxed during each exchange. I do not need to prepare. I do not need to think ahead. I listen, understand enough, and respond simply. The communication supports the flow of work without drawing attention to itself. I hear similar phrases repeated across different situations. The meaning stays consistent. The words change slightly, but the intent is the same. Confirm the status, share necessary information, acknowledge understanding. As these interactions repeat, they become part of the background of daily work. I do not focus on them. I let them pass naturally. The sound of the language blends into the working environment. Each time, the outcome is simple. We understand where things stand. We know what is happening. There's no need to conclude or summarize. The work continues smoothly. This kind of communication does not stand out. It is ordinary and familiar. It happens many times a day. Through repetition, the phrases become comfortable and easy to hear. I do not study them. I simply listen as they appear. I remain calm and attentive. I confirm what I need to confirm. I respond briefly, then I move on. The exchange is complete and the work flows forward as usual. 以上で本日の音声は終了です。コマ形式の英語を引き続き聞きたい方はチャンネル登録をしておくといつでも同じように聞き流すことができます。ではまた次回お会いしましょう。